All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Welcome to the Jake Fletcher Show. This week I am talking about my experience doing the 75 Hard Challenge, which I just finished doing. If you've never heard of it before, it was started by a guy named Andy Frisella, and I came about this hearing about it from some other people on social media, just kind of seeing posts and stuff, seeing people's before and after pictures, and I thought, man, that's really cool. Seems like a really positive thing. Let me check it out. So I check it out, I see what the different components of it are, and I said, you know what the hell? Why don't I try it, try to do this myself? So I started looking into it more. I actually officially signed up for the challenge, and it was a great experience overall. And wanted to talk about it a little bit today and let you guys know what my experience was, what my thoughts on it were, and give you the real truth behind the 75 Hard Challenge right here on the Jake Fletcher Show. So let's jump into it. So first of all, let's lay out the components of the challenge. So there are several components of the challenge. One of them is that you have to work out twice a day for 45 minutes each at least, and one of them has to be outside. Another component of the challenge is you have to do a diet. It can be whatever diet that you want, but you have to stick to it. And to that same point, no cheat meals and also no alcohol, not even a single drop of alcohol. Daily progress picture, drink a gallon of water every day and read 10 pages every day. So I posted my before and after pictures on my Instagram. So if you want to go check those out, make sure to follow me and, all of that stuff as well. But my Instagram is at jake.miami, Jake.miami, Miami. And the components of the challenge, for me, I decided to do intermittent fasting on a 16-8 schedule, which means that I fast for 16 hours and then have an 8-hour window where I can eat. The working out, I started off at Orange Theory Fitness, which is a national, chain of fitness stores, fitness gyms that is a little more cardio focused. And sort of halfway through the challenge, I decided I needed to do more strength building. And so I switched to a local gym here in Miami called Legacy Fit. And that was a great decision for me because my cardio was already in a place, or I had gotten it to a place where I felt like it was pretty good. I'm able to run 5 miles without stopping, taking a break, and, running like a 10 and a half minute average mile doing so. And, Orange Theory was great, don't get me wrong, but for me, I was less worried about losing weight and more focused on building muscle mass and actually getting stronger. And so I am a big fan of Legacy Fit here in Miami. If you're in Miami, highly recommend them. They have a location in Coral Gables, Doral, Wynwood, Midtown. They have one, I think, in Kendall. There's one up in like Pembroke Pines, and I think they have another couple other locations or something. But it's a HIIT style workout, which is, or kind of like HIIT style rather, but they call it PIT. So instead of high intensity interval training, it's partner interval training. So the whole thing is you have a partner, you are holding your partner accountable, and likewise. So you really kind of learn to like positively push each other to get the most out of your workout, which is really cool. And I really think that the whole partner, component of it was definitely is a really cool model within their business. It definitely makes them a bit differently, but it's similar to that HIIT style where it's like high intensity. Everything's very quick, fast paced. You don't have much time to rest in between. There's 20 stations, 2 minutes each, and a warm up and a cool down. Which sometimes are like the hardest ones. It's like do a plank for 2 minutes straight. If you rest your knees at all, the trainer of the class, yells, "Oh, get your knees up," So it's a great format that they have. I really can't say enough good things about them. And actually, I'd like to have them on a future podcast. So we'll see about that. So that was usually like my first workout of the day. I was going to Orange Theory, and then when I switched to Legacy Fit, going to Legacy Fit between 4 to 6 times a week. All right, in the morning. I like to work out in the morning. I like to first thing I do, wake up, get stretch, do a little Theragun on my back or whatever, and then get out the door, go do the workout, and then come back, do my breakfast around noon, 11 noon, and then eat dinner later on around 7 or 8. And I would get my second workout in either before or after dinner. And for the second workout, I would usually either bike or run, or some combination of biking and running, or sometimes I would walk, especially in the beginning. What I noticed was, as athletic as I have always felt like I am, once you start working out twice a day and doing like the high intensity, super hardcore gym stuff, 5, 6 days a week, you're gonna realize that, well, at least I did that. I was in my early 30s, not my early 20s, and I had a bit of an adjustment period the first couple weeks where I would go work out, and then my second workout of the day, I was just like so freaking tired that I just couldn't. So I would just walk with my dog, do a 45-minute walk, and that was my outdoor workout, which 45-minute walk in the Miami heat and humidity and sun and everything is definitely not a joke. It's not like I'm walking in an AC indoor track or something. And what I loved though was is doing the bike ride with a little bit of running. Like I would do like a 30-minute bike ride and then like a 15-minute run at the end. I felt like that was a really good combination to stack up with the going to the gym, because the bike ride it's not that it's easy. I would put it on top gear and be like working it out, but it was nice to get that little bike ride in and then get off and then hit that quick little run up. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm not a huge fan of running. It just sucks, and it's long term. It's not that good for your knees. And I kind of experienced that as well. I started to kind of like halfway through the challenge of running almost every day. I started to have a little bit of like patella pain. And that also was exacerbated by, I think, the Orange Theory, like doing a lot of running in that class. Whereas with the Legacy Fit, my knee stuff started to cool down immediately as soon as I switched to the other gym, because it's not running based. You're lifting weights and stuff, but you're not getting that like impact of your knee on like a hard surface. There's only one station that's a treadmill, and it's like the ergonomic treadmills that are like bouncy, and it's like super chill on your knees. It's a weird way to say it, but it is. But yeah, it was tough when I started feeling that knee pain, because I was like, dude, I got like 50 days to go. What am I going to do, So that's kind of when I started doing the walking a little bit more than the bike run. I would bike or walk pretty much. Towards the second half of the 75 hard, I almost completely stopped running altogether, just because of the knee thing. And I didn't want to, hurt my knee, or I was trying to kind of prevent it from getting worse and trying to preserve the longevity of my knee. You only got 2 of them, So that was kind of how my experience went with the working out. With the alcohol and the cheat meals, that wasn't that hard. I've never been a big drinker, so that was not very, very tough. The progress pick thing was super easy. I mean, except for there was a couple times where I almost forgot. I did like everything else except for the pick. And then I have a sheet here. I'll pull it off the wall. I just pulled this down. This is also on the Instagram post, but I made a sheet of every single day and check marked every single thing off as I completed them. And so I would go at the end of the night and make sure I got everything, and I made that a habit. I made that a routine, so that I made sure that I wasn't going to fail the challenge, because I didn't say this at the beginning, but one of the hardest parts of the 75 hard challenge is if you miss anything, a single one of these components on a single day, then you have to start back at day 1. So I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to have to start over. And so I would check it at the end of the night, made that a habit, made that a ritual. And there was a couple times, especially one time in particular, I was out of town. I didn't have my list with me, and I was laying in bed, and I just remember thinking like, all right, did I do everything? I was kind of doing my mental checklist, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't do the pick, and it was like, late at night, I'm, almost half asleep, and I just got up, turned on the lights, did like half, awake picture of myself real quick, and then I was good, So that one it was easy, but it was also almost too easy to be able to overlook sometimes. And then the gallon of water thing was pretty easy for me too, because I've always been somebody who's very hydrated. I just got literally a 1 gallon jug, and it has markings on it for the ounces, and then also for the time of day that you're like supposed to be at that spot. What I found about that was to get as much water drinking as early as possible in the day, so that I wasn't like chugging water before I went to bed. Because there was a couple times that I, would get up to go to the bathroom like 5 times in the middle of the night because I had to drink half a gallon of water in the last few hours of the day. So if you're looking to do the 75 hard challenge, I highly recommend getting that water component down. So, and then the read 10 pages thing was really cool too. I really liked that aspect of the challenge. The books that I read were Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, former FBI like head interrogator. Super, super amazing book. One of the greatest books I've ever read about negotiations. And then I read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller, because I'm a realtor, and that's like what a lot of people consider that one of the Bibles of real estate. And after reading it, I can see why. Maybe I'll do like another, I'll do a video on my YouTube channel or something about these books in particular, do like a little breakdown review of each book. And then I actually read The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker twice. Technically, the second read, I finished it after the challenge was over, but I read that book twice because amazing book. I've given away like multiple copies of it now to people. It's a great book, man. If you have a chance to read Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, it's really, really good at kind of getting you to identify what your money blueprint is and how that's going to set you up for success or failure, and teaching you kind of the way that millionaires think differently than everybody else. I'm doing it disservice by such a short interpretation of the book, but trust me, all three of those are amazing reads. If you're a realtor or not, read Never Split the Difference or The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. If you're a realtor, you have to definitely read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, because incredible. So my stats. So I lost about 10 pounds of fat. Maybe like between 10 and 15. It's hard to know exactly because I also gained a decent amount of muscle in the last half of the challenge at Legacy Fit, because I was doing a lot of lifting, right? I got my quickest mile because sometimes I would just run a mile for speed, which I later found out it echoed that sentiment of, hey man, you're in your early 30s now, not your early 20s, because after running a mile for speed, I felt it the next day. I'm not going to lie. But my quickest mile, I ran an 8-minute and 2-second mile. I really tried so hard to get it under 8 minutes. But I didn't want to damage my body any further by doing too many attempts of this. But I feel great about the fact that I just turned 33 a couple days ago, and I'm running an 8-minute and 2-second mile when I try. I feel great about that. I think the quickest mile I ever ran was in middle school, and it was like 7 minutes and 45 seconds. So I'm doing pretty good, So I drink a total of 75 gallons of water, obviously. And I read 3 books, one of them twice, right? So the cool thing here I wanted to kind of talk about was my main takeaways from the challenge. And the most important one, I wrote these down so that I could make sure to kind of get them out right. But the main one that stood out to me was because I decided up front that I was going to do this. And like I said, I wasn't going to miss any of those aspects of the challenge to be required to start over. So what I wrote down here is when you're going to attempt to do something, you must decide before you start that you're going to stick with your plan, what you say you'll do, and stay 100% consistent no matter what, no matter how hard it is, and no matter how you feel. For me personally, I never doubted or even had a second thought about quitting because I had already decided in my mind that I am going to do this. And that level of dedication, in my opinion, is just absolutely monumentally game changing if you can learn how to adopt it and apply it, most importantly, to your life. So it sounds easier than it really is, and depending on what you're doing, granted, it's probably harder or easier. But if there's something that you're seeking to do in your life, whether it be a challenge like this or a new job or whatever it is, right? You have to start out with the dedication and the mindset and a decided mind that this is what you're gonna do no matter what. And when you do that, and kind of you don't leave room for like a plan B or room for error, like you have to do this no matter what, like almost like life or death, like no matter what, I'm doing this because for me in this situation, I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do something and then do something else. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Anyone who knows me personally knows that that's the case. I have always been the type of person, I make shit happen. So when I decided that I was going to do this, I knew I was going to make it happen. So that to me is just such a powerful thing. And of course, I already kind of had that instilled in my mind previously, just because, like I said, that's kind of the type of person that I am. But this challenge made that so much more highlighted and clear in my mind how important that dedicated mindset is. Because if you start out with doing something and you're like, oh, I'd like to, start a new career in X, Y, and Z industry. That sure would be nice, wouldn't it? And then the second that stuff starts to go wrong or things start to get hard, you're like, okay, well, this didn't really work out, right? And it happens to a lot of realtors too. They get in and they think, oh, I'll just like open doors and sell houses and make millions of dollars in no time. And then once people get in, they realize like, oh my God, this is infinitely harder than I ever imagined. And then they give up, right? So same thing when I started in real estate, I decided, I was like, I'm a realtor now. That's it. Till the end of time, I will be selling houses, whether or not I'm always actively, selling or full time, or if I've built my business and I'm able to step out and focus on other things like investing or, nonprofits and things that I have planned for later on down the road. So be it, but I am a realtor. I will always be in real estate. And part of that is because I love real estate and I'm obsessed with it, but also because I knew this was the career that I had identified as the right fit for me and something that I was going to see through and see it through all the way to the top or to the end or whatever it may be. So that mindset, I just can't stress how important that is. So if you've never really had an experience like that before, pick something, pick anything. One kind of challenge from the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind that you could try this out with is the complaining challenge. And it's only 7 days, so it's a good way to kind of test this out. And the challenge goes like this. It's in your mind's dialogue with yourself, in your internal dialogue, better said, and also verbally, outspokenly into the world, you can't complain. So no complaining for 7 days, whether it be out loud or in your own internal dialogue. And if you do any type of complaining whatsoever or, negative self-talk or anything like that, then you have to start back at day one, similar to the 75 hard, right? And it's tough. It is very tough. I challenge you to try it for yourself. But if you start out with the mindset and the dedicated, the decision that I'm not going to complain for the next 7 days. And that becomes your internal dialogue of, I don't complain. I'm not a complainer. I will not be complaining for the next 7 days. It will be easier than if you just start out with like, oh, let me try this challenge out, see how it goes, if not, whatever. That if not, whatever mentality will just kill your dreams. So it's just such a monumental thing again. So if you can learn how to adopt it and most importantly, apply it. So another key takeaway for me was I learned that intermittent fasting was less important for me now than just eating modest portions and not eating too late. So intermittent fasting, I was doing it for about a year before the Armageddon. And I was doing intermittent fasting in conjunction with like a low carb diet, not keto, but just reducing my carbs, not eating, freaking bakeries full of bread every day. And I lost like 20 pounds doing it. It was great. So naturally, when I started 75 hard, I was like, all right, I'm going to go, for the intermittent fasting because it's something I know I can do. The rest of this challenge is going to try me. And I know that I can, do this successfully. It's not like I'm trying to go vegan or something that's going to be something completely foreign and I don't really know how to do it and stuff like that. Or at least I'm not good at it or not have no idea how to go about it. So the intermittent fasting, it was easy for the challenge, but I've come to kind of learn through that is that it's not so important for me that I've like wait until a certain time to eat. What's more important is that I don't eat too late. If I'm eating dinner at like 9 o'clock or something like that, I'm eating too late, and I'm going to be going to bed in a couple hours or whatever from that, and then my body's not going to be able to digest that food in the same way and utilize those nutrients, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of it's going to be turned into fat. One of my friends, he actually kind of took this same stance of not eating too late. Last time I saw him, he had lost like 20 pounds and looked incredible. I was like, dude, what did you do? And he was like, I just stopped eating at night. And I was like, holy shit, that's incredible. And that kind of echoed my own experience in conjunction, like I said, with the modest portions. And my trainer at Legacy Fit really turned me on to that. Homeboy is like jiggity jacked sauce. Like he is huge and he eats whatever. And he, drinks on the weekend if he wants to, just lives his life. And it's a more sustainable lifestyle than saying, oh, I've got this super strict diet that I have to, conform to and da 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 da. No, in reality, if we just eat smaller portions, then, right off the bat, you're doing so much better than if you weren't doing that, And also, too, of course, eating healthy, I mean, obviously, if you're on a health tip, you're not like out there eating packets of Oreos and junk food, right? So that's also important. But I've never really, not never, but in my adult life, have not been a junk food person. Of course, when I was a kid, I would eat whatever, tombstone pizzas every day. But yeah, so at the end of the day, small portion sizes and making sure I don't eat too late at night. Right now, I'm kind of experimenting with having like a little pre-workout snack. My workouts are usually at 7 in the morning. So like, 45 minutes before that, having like a banana or like a small little granola bar or something like that. I'm kind of experimenting with that because in the past, I've always gone to work out on an empty stomach and I'm the type of guy, you might be able to tell that I have a lot of natural energy. And so I would just go to the gym and my energy levels would be fine. The thing I don't like necessarily about eating before the gym is like you kind of taste the food when you start going hard. So I'm still trying to parse that out, trying to balance that, see what's good. But that's where I'm at with that right now. Another key takeaway for me was I forgot how much I loved reading. And reading now has every day has become one of my new favorite habits. And it's, of course, it's not so rigid where I'm like 7 days a week, you better read. Like I've missed a couple days in the last couple weeks and, last week since I finished the challenge. But the thing is that most days I will read. And I just love reading. I don't know. I've always loved reading as a kid. And then as I got older and, we get busy and then we stop reading, we stop doing those kind of things. I would more listen to like podcasts and watch YouTube videos, of course, of how to, different things I wanted to learn. But books are something that it transports you into another sort of universe. And I love that aspect of it, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, it really takes you away from the surrounding world and distractions and puts you into this different type of headspace. I love that. And I love that it's kind of become like, it's become my me time. If I don't get it elsewhere throughout my day, if I don't have, time in the morning to hit up a little meditation or time at night to do a little reflection or something, that is my me time of taking a second to read. So it's great for that. And another key takeaway I found was not drinking alcohol is a lot easier than I thought. it sounds much harder than it actually is. But once you stop drinking, I mean, I went to 4th of July party. I flew up to Atlanta to my buddy's for his birthday. Went to 4th of July parties. All these different things, and I was just drinking water. And people were like, "What's wrong? You don't want to drink?" Like, no, I'm doing this challenge. One of the components is not drinking. And people are like, "Oh, cool," and it gets them wondering about the challenge. Which is cool too. But I didn't miss not drinking at all. I certainly didn't miss feeling hungover, the next day feeling of drinking. And then my last key takeaway was that working out twice a day is tough, especially at first. But listening to your body, like I was saying, about my whole knee thing, taking it easy when you need to, but then pushing it as hard as you possibly can when you feel good, right? So it's that takeaway is more about listening to your body, listening to what the right thing for you is, and just trusting yourself, coming to that place where you can listen to your body and listen to your own intuition, because it is hard to work out twice a day for most people, unless you're like Simone Biles or like a super athlete or something like that. But it got easier. It definitely got easier to where I would go hit up my Legacy Fit, then come bike ride later on, and just like beast moding it out and feeling great. And I look great, feel great. I freaking and it's just the beginning too. That's another thing too. Is it's like I have not arrived at a destination. I've arrived at a checkpoint, and I've arrived at a threshold to where now I'm now very much clearly on my path of this journey towards my new health goals and my new self that I'm becoming, and that I am already in some respects. So that's the real truth about the 75 Hard Challenge. It's tough, but if you decide that you're going to do it, no matter what, right from the start, before you even start, that's going to make it a lot easier. Listening to your body, making a little checklist like I made definitely helped me a lot as well. And overall, it's cool to just be able to know in my head that I did this really tough thing that most people would probably be like, hell no, there's no way, I could never do that. Well, for me, I just did it. I took it one day at a time, 75 days, one after another, and I conquered it. And here's the proof. And the picture on my Instagram at jake.miami. So that's it for this episode of the Jake Fletcher Show, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely make sure to follow me at jake.miami on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube. Make sure to, leave me a good review on, if you're listening to this on podcast platforms, give me a like, give me a thumbs up wherever you're at, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. So sell smart, buy bold. Peace.